Good morning, boot camp. And context is a big part of every conversation we have. You are the architect of all of your results. Language doesn't communicate, it creates and it generates. One of the problems is that we're wishy-washy. We are real estate agents and we want everyone to like us, and we allow people to be wishy-washy back. And if you are the architects of conversation that get results, you can't tolerate spineless, wishy-washy language. I'm going to suggest that if you want results, if you want commitment, you're responsible for the communication, to create the action, to get things done, and to set the expectations right. And I want you to think about the explanations you're giving to yourself. And the question then is, are your explanations giving you the outcomes you're looking for? And that might be just, is your real estate business where it needs to be? Are you full of excuses to yourself? Or are you taking responsibility and starting to do the things you need to do?
Thanks, Linda. I'm grateful, as usual, for the opportunity to get to be here. I'm such a procrastinator, and what I was starting to realize, this is really the thing in my business that gets me down the most, and filled with self-loathing and frustration is my ability to procrastinate, which is legendary. And I said, I think it's really about discomfort. There's something in these tasks that is uncomfortable for me. And I think the way I'm gonna slay this dragon in 2021 is I'm gonna seek discomfort. I'm not gonna shy away from it, but when I identify that something's uncomfortable and I'm going away from it, screw that. I'm gonna seek it out. I'm gonna go toward it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not a martyr. I don't wanna be uncomfortable. It didn't feel quite right, this whole idea of seeking discomfort. And so I thought, well, maybe it's not about seeking it out, but when I encounter it, I'm gonna embrace it. I'm gonna be okay with it. I was thinking, that doesn't feel quite right. And finally, I landed on what it is. But I wanna discharge discomfort. When I identify discomfort, when I'm procrastinating, when I'm leaning away, it's not that I'm gonna run toward it. It's that I've really gotta figure out what's the discomfort and how do I undo its power. The longer I delay, as time moves out, the negative emotional charge associated with the task just builds. So it's this very unfortunate vector that up here is where I wind up with mail and checks and lots of other things, but it just has this incredible negative charge associated with it. Sometimes really bad feelings come over me, and if I'm in a procrastination mode, the bad feeling comes and then it goes away because I go to Wikipedia and read about something. But so instead, let that bad feeling come and then just sit and I think have your way with me. And then another wave comes through. It's always right in my gut. It's a really bad feeling. And the more times I let this wave come through me, the less intense it gets. And then what I find is after, it's usually 5 minutes, then I sort of get up from my chair and I think about it and it's discharged. Your body has to process it. And once you've processed it, it's taken the charge out of it.
The big piece I wanted to talk about is really the springboard. So 2020 was a fascinating year. I think that's probably the nicest way we can put that year. But it also was a very strong year for real estate. I think a lot of us didn't really expect that to happen. One of the huge values of living in Massachusetts is that we usually outpace the market for growth in the real estate market, and we also don't seem to go down as much when there is a downturn. And so we're an extremely stable market, and you can see that we're one of only a few states that actually saw a plus $30,000 or more growth in their equity in their home year over year. Interest rates have been at an all-time low. Treasury rates have really been moving up since the election, but mortgage rates have been going down. That is an inverse of what's supposed to happen. If you look at a long-term chart of treasury rates and mortgage rates, they move together. And sometimes mortgage rates lag a little bit, and that's what we're seeing right now, but they do move together. And so we should be expecting to see rates go up. It's going to change the ability for the buyer to purchase. And of course, what buyers pay off of what the total price is, but more importantly, a lot of buyers pay off of what their monthly cost is. And if you're going to see a 40 basis points change, you're going to see a 2 to 3% change in what they can afford on a monthly cost, and that will relate to the actual sales price. 21.9% more homes will sell than in 2020. So what does that really mean? That means that they're expecting the market to be 20% larger. 58.7% of all homes in America have at least 60% equity. people are sitting on a tremendous amount of cash in their properties. So what do we do with this information? It's client outreach and it's equity checkups. I'd make the goal that I know Bill Butler's doing the same thing. We want to have a 15-minute call or Zoom to discuss the equity in your home, what your current interest rate is. Can you refinance? Is there anything else that we can help with? Because those are the pieces right now that are showing value to our clients, and that's why they're starting to refer.
You're the experienced agent. You're the one that understands the consequences of certain decisions. I bet you're a lot like me. You know, all of a sudden, we're in this together. I bet you're a bit like me. You hate to pay over asking, but know that if you don't, someone else will. Remember, there are two types of people in this world. I love this one. So, people who create problems and people who solve problems. I've been living by that mantra for a long time. Which category are you in? We are out front and always behind you. And can I add, we've thought of it all, so you don't have to. And let's end on this quote. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. So on that note, I want to thank all the boot campers for joining me. It was a lot of fun for me. I think we're going to have a whole new way of doing boot camp in person next year as a result of some of the events that we did. Thank you all. Make it a great year. And I want to hear all about the bingo. Take care.